Hi and welcome back to the Global Flow series. I'm so excited to be here today with the gorgeous Mel Wells. Now, we've already been chatting for like 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, we need to start the interview at some point, or we could just be here all day. And you're in the UK and it's like the middle of the night. So I'm just so grateful for you being here, and thank you so much.
Of course, babe. Anything for you.
Oh, so nice. And yeah, like Mel's amazing. We met in San Diego last year, and then we caught up in Bali again, and we're like already like, so where are you going to be? When are you going to LA? So I love it. I love it. It means so much to me to be able to meet people in person as well. Like it makes this whole thing so much better. I love it.
Yeah.
So just because we're buddies doesn't mean you should necessarily listen to the rest of this. But I'm going to read Mel's official bio so you know exactly why you need to listen to this, because she's just epic. So Mel Wells is a health coach, speaker, and author of The Goddess Revolution. There's going to be like shameless plugs all through this. She dedicates her time to helping thousands of women worldwide ditch dieting for good, make peace with food, and love their healthy bodies in all the right ways. Mel coaches women one-on-one and also through her online academy and luxury goddess retreats around the world. She's been in Hello, Cosmopolitan, Closer, New, Daily Express, Radio 1, and so many more. She empowers women to stop dieting for good by adopting healthy, loving relationship with food, and brand new lifestyle reflects it. Since January, countless women, including well-known faces, have been drawn to Mel's positive, reliable, and engaging approach, helping them to overcome issues with their food and bodies. They've either joined your 8-week Green Goddess Academy or gone on one of your Green Goddess retreats, which look amazing. And I saw the last one was in Bali. And just totally inspired by you and your work. I love it. And I just want to, like, this is just unreal when I heard this. You are Hay House published author. So not just did you publish your first book, you did it with Hay House, which makes you their youngest ever published author.
Yes.
Right.
I think I've still got that title, although I am getting older now and I don't know who they've brought in after me. That bio that you've got is like, I think that was written when I just got my book deal.
Right. Okay.
Last year I was definitely the youngest published author. I think I still am.
Well, you were when you got it, you were. So let's just, at the time when she was published, you were, which is I was actually not that you look old, but I was blown away. I'm like, you're sorry, what? You're like 26 now, is that right?
I'm 27 now, yeah.
Oh,
so I was 26
I was like, damn, I was just still getting drunk at 26. Like I
was getting drunk as well. So
okay. Good. That makes me feel a little bit better. But I'd love to know, can you tell us a little bit more about your journey and how the heck you end up being Hay House published author at 26? I mean, to most people, they're just waking up and figuring out their shit, not doing things like that. So very inspiring. Can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Sure. So like I would say that I had another life. like what I do now is so different to who I was like 5 years ago. So 5 years ago I was an actress in a UK soap opera, and it's kind of like, it's called Hollyoaks, and it's kind of like this young just like a trendy soap that people watch. Anyway, the point that I'm making is I was an actress and I had a really, really unhealthy relationship with food, and you know, I struggled with eating disorders for about 7 years, just awful body image, like, and just constantly on a diet. If I wasn't starving myself, then I was binging. If I wasn't binging, I was like looking on the internet for new diets, or like obsessing over other women's bodies and like tracking my calories relentlessly on an app, planning my next workouts. Like it just consumed my life. And even though I had this full-time job on this show, really my full-time job was a dieter. I was a full-time dieter, and I put my heart and soul into it, way more than I put any attention into any of my acting work or anything like that. I cared way more about my weight and food, and I was obsessed. So that's kind of that's where I was. So that's why now obviously I'm completely on the other side of that now, and I know it so well, of being in that place, which is why now I'm on the other side of it. I can actually help so many people because I remember so vividly what it's like to be in that headspace. So like fast forward 5 years, like a few things happened. I lost my dad quite suddenly to cancer, which kind of got me into health and wellness and nutrition for prevention of disease rather than just diets, because I was just doing like the worst like fad diets you could think of, like nothing to do with health. So got on a path of like nutrition and wellness, and then I started really abusing the clean eating scene. So I got so into clean eating that I was like obsessed with that, and was like on this like clean, vegan, gluten-free, sugar-free, everything-free diet. And like I was like, this is so healthy, I'm so pure, this is so great. And but still obviously had a very unhealthy relationship with my body and with food. And it took a while for me to realize that I was actually looking in all the wrong places for happiness. I thought by shrinking to a certain size, then I would be happy, then I would love myself, then my life would begin. I really thought that thin equaled happy. And such an awful belief to have, and yet so many women in the world are living their lives with this belief that if I change my body, then I'll be happy. I can't be happy until my body looks like that. And that was really my story for so long. And big shift happened for me. Last relationship that I was in, we were planning a pregnancy basically, and in me planning a pregnancy, I had to kind of go through this whole thing of like, sorry.
Sorry, it's fine.
I had to go through this thing of like, oh my God, my body's going to change. I'm going to gain weight. How am I going to lose the baby weight? And I just had this panic. And then it just dawned on me, like, is this really the kind of mother that you want to be? Like, is this really what you want to pass down to a young child? This awful thing that you've got with food. And that was when I was like, okay, something's got to change.
Yeah.
So I went on this massive journey of just a journey to self-love and healing. Got rid of my scales, literally chucked out every diet book I owned, got rid of the apps, and just said, you know what, I'm just going to focus on getting completely in tune with my body, no control whatsoever. What's the worst thing that can happen? Worst thing that can happen, I'm going to gain weight. Whoa. No one's going to die. And I really had to get over that. I really had to get over myself, because for so many years, my worst fear was gaining weight. And I was like, I've got some issues if that's my worst fear in the world.
Right.
So yeah, really in me confronting that fear and getting rid of all my control, those control elements, I was able to just tune in with my body, find this good relationship again with myself, with my body. And then just like everything from there has just been like just taken off. Like my life has grown into this magical place that I want to live in when I didn't before. I love my body more than ever. And that's not because of how it looks. It's because of how I treat it and how I think of it. It's because of the relationship. It's got nothing to do with weight. And I've basically developed this business all around exactly that, like helping women get away from the diet traps, the cycle of binge and restrict and new diets every Monday. And I work with a lot of girls with eating disorders now, like a lot. And I really believe that like in terms of what I can, in terms of how I can help girls that have been through that, I honestly think there's nothing else that's getting the same results that I'm getting. Not from the NHS, not from, from what I hear from girls that have been in years and years of therapy and counselling, but it's all the wrong approach. It's focused on fear rather than love.
Yeah.
And so all of my work is based on was always based on love for yourself, love for your body. That's a really long way around it, but basically that's my story.
I love all of this, and massively relate inside. I mean, I've been on the yo-yo dieting weight craziness for a very, very long time, so I really relate to it, and I haven't figured it all out yet, but I'm on a mission reading the book. It's helpful. So and it's just, it is healing, and I keep going to another level and healing another part, and it's definitely a journey, but it's so important. It's so important. Before I dive into some more of this, the one question I'm asking everybody: what does flow mean to you? Like, just as a concept, a way of life, whatever that is.
Flow means to me living in relationship with the universe. That's just like a fun relationship with the universe.
I love it. I feel like a couple of things, because to me, and I only want to people on this series that I believe live in flow and embody it and represent that. And you're so vibrant, but you can tell you are, right? Like, and I think that, I don't know if there is, like, from the outside you're like, oh, she just looks happy, like there's something good going on there, and we're not quite sure what she's doing, but it looks fun. And then I think you start to see it by being in flow. You have to be in alignment with your message to have things like book deals and stuff happening, and the impact you're actually having in people. What have been some of the most fun things that have happened, like synchronistically out of nowhere, and you're like, what? Like, is my life even real?
Oh my God, babe, I literally feel like that's my life, honestly. Like, honestly, I could literally I've just got so many stories for you, but like I feel like it happens all the time, and it happens in Bali a lot, which is really interesting.
Bali is like a mystical place that the weirdest things happen, like, all the time.
It really is. It really, really is. But yeah, like, do you want to hear some stories?
I'd love one or two, just to sort of explain like the crazy things that we're talking about, and like the things that happen when you step into this place.
Oh my God. Well, oh God, I don't know if I want to share this. So one has just happened, and it's so personal and so weird. And it literally happened like this week.
If you want to, but you don't have to. Whatever.
It's not business related though. It's not. No, I won't share this one. This one.
Okay.
Wait, I'll share one that happened in Bali. So in Bali, I got 2 messages from different people in this one day, and I've been kind of thinking for a while, like, obviously, like, when you're an entrepreneur and like you're in these business circles, you hear like a lot of names, and you're like, oh, like, you kind of have an idea of like who you would love to work with. And obviously, like, I feel like I mix with a lot of business, like a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of business coaches and business people. And so I've got, like, I'm in a few WhatsApp groups with like I'm in a WhatsApp group with like a few of the other Hay House authors, and we just like chat about stuff. And anyway, one of these girls like messaged me and says like, oh, I've heard you're going to Necker Island. And I was like, am I? No, I'm not. I don't know anything about this. Anyway, an hour later, another message from another girl saying, babe, I've just heard you're going to Necker. And I was like, first I've heard about it, right?
Right.
Anyway, I'm thinking, what does this mean? Where is this coming from? What is going on? And I look back on my vision board. By the way, I do my vision board on Instagram. So I've got a private Instagram that's just like my vision board, top tip. And I look back at my Instagram and I'm like, oh, and there's a photo of like Necker Island. And I'm like, maybe this is manifesting. Anyway, then I get a message from someone that says, yeah, so, like, insert business lady's name, is telling everyone that you're going. And so then I was like, what's going on? So I open Facebook Messenger to send her a message. And as I open it up, she's typing to me.
Oh my gosh.
And she sends me a message being like, hey, gorgeous. And I'm like, hey, what's going on?
Right?
And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to message you about Necker because apparently I'm going. And she was like, oh my God, yeah, like I've been meaning to send you an invite for this thing. And anyway, it turns out that I was on this list, but basically it all just happened in this 1 hour. And suddenly it was just in front of me, and it was this massive like invitation for like, but like it was almost like everyone knew that I was going apart from me.
Right. And like, I'm guessing you're going, right?
Well, I still don't know. See, that's the thing, babe. That's the thing. The process of that day felt very in alignment. But then that's different. Like, that is separate. Like, that process, that was a beautiful experience for me to have that manifestation of the invitation. But actually, to then sit with the actual thing, which is a different situation, and go, does that feel in alignment? That's different. So, and I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm still like undecided, but it feels like I'm having to think about it more. And I think in some ways, and there's various different reasons for that, which I'll talk to you about. But I think when you're in flow and things are just naturally happening, you're very in tune with what's an easy yes and what's an easy no. And you have to say no to a lot of things. And sometimes it's like you've got to really sit and just tune in with like what is it that I really want to feel from this? What place am I doing this from? And for me, who's, maybe like Richard Branson is amazing, but to me, like, he is he's like my Oprah would be my Richard Branson. So anyway, enough about that. But basically, I was talking about alignment and manifestations.
I love this, and it was actually because we met at a Brendon Burchard event, his High Performance Academy in San Diego, and I remember one moment stuck with me so clearly, because he said he'd got invited to the Oscars, and it gets his Academy Awards invite, and he turned it down, and I was like, are you crazy, man? And it didn't fit in with his like schedule or what he had planned, and he was like, it wasn't on the schedule. So, and he's like, so his boundaries are insane, and he's just like, it didn't work with my like path and my soul purpose, and so
I totally get that. I really do. And I honestly think the more you do this and the more you keep up leveling, the more amazing things you're going to have to turn down. But it doesn't feel like, oh God, I'm gutted. Like, I just turned down yesterday. I was invited to speak at this amazing convention in Greece and get like 6 days in a luxury thing. And it doesn't feel in alignment for me. I don't feel like I'd be going for the right reasons.
Wow.
And I'm just going to get back to Bali early instead. That just feels more in alignment for me. I think I'm going to get more work done, and that's what I want to do. I've got to do writing. So I'm like, but like that, like a few years ago, I would have just like leapt at that and been all over it.
Yeah.
But you definitely, the more in alignment you get, the more you're like, am I really excited by this? Or do I just think that I should be excited by it?
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And I think as well, that's coming from such an expansive way of thinking. It's, I don't need that to be happy, or there will be other opportunities. And so it's not, this is not the only opportunity for me. Yeah, it would probably be cool and amazing, and you'd have a nice time. But if you're feeling called to Bali, there might be something even more amazing that's going to happen when you're in Bali, right? Like, so, and it's it's major first world goddess problems, right? Like it's
well, yeah, it is. You're right. I think always a really good question that I ask myself is, does this feel expansive? Does this feel expansive, and does this feel like forward movement? And you know, sometimes you've got to sit with that. Sometimes that's not like an easy question to answer.
Absolutely. And it takes courage to answer that, and it takes courage to say no to things. And I think I mean, that's just, I love that you're in that place and having those decisions to make. Necker is on my vision board too. And someone once said, she emailed me and she was like, I think you mentioned on something that you wanted to go to Necker. Here's an email about it. And like, she'd forwarded me this email, and like, I sort of started looking at it as well. And again, at that point, it wasn't quite right. So it's so weird. I'm like, oh, that's really spooky. But yeah, so I want to get back a little bit and talk about the food and the body stuff, because I think it's so freaking important. And I could sit and talk to you about manifesting and synchronicities, all like that would be quite a fun conversation. But for me, it's just turned 12/12, and I'm like, all right, back to the real, back to
my God, wait. Here's a fun fact. My business was born on 12/12/12.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your business being born on 12/12/12. How on earth, so you went from being this crazy obsessed binging, non-binging dieting thing into orthorexia, which is that obsession with the health stuff. And I kind of probably bordered a little bit on that. I was a pain in the ass for a while, and now I've come back as well. I'm like, that's too extreme. Where does somebody, even if they're like in this place and like, it's all right for you lot, but they're just starting to sort of realize that this isn't the way forward for them and they can't sustain it and it's not healthy, like what is the first step somebody would even take to getting on this path?
To getting on the path to freedom around food and your body.
Yeah.
I would say you've got to get to that place of just surrender and trust. That's really what this is about, because all of that stuff, when you're going round and round in circles with food, is literally you clinging to control, clinging to diets and rules and the scales and calories and tracking. You're clinging to it. And that is so, it's this whole mindset of scarcity and lack and fear. And I think if you really, really, truly know that you want to heal, you've got to be in a place of like, I surrender. I'm going to actually lean into trust rather than control. And you've got to be willing to focus on love and health. Like that was the game changer for me, was just getting rid of this, like I stopped prioritizing weight loss. I just said, you know what? I'm going to let my body do whatever she wants, and I'm just going to listen to her and see what happens. And that was scary, so scary. But I think if you don't have that trust, you're always going to be like taking one step forward and two steps back.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. You just said about listening to your body. I put my hand up to all that. Like I was so disconnected from my body. People be like, oh, where do you feel that in your body? I'm like, I don't know. My body feels things. Like I was so disconnected. I'm getting back there again. Not exactly. I'm still on my journey, but how do you do that? Like again, we're like, oh, just listen. How do you start to open up to that and to your listening to your body?
I think stillness, and I think trust. I think, we forget that our bodies are so smart, like way smarter than we give them credit for. And diet culture and weight loss culture has made us think that we are completely useless without some kind of a plan and some kind of a manipulation and control system for our bodies. You know, and it's led us to be all so disconnected from our bodies. We've got no idea, you know, when we're full. We've got no idea when we're hungry. All we're doing is eating what we think we're supposed to eat, what we think we should eat, and following this kind of laid out plans. But we're forgetting that, you know, we are born trusting our bodies. Like when we're children, like we don't have to think about food. We don't think about dieting. We don't think, am I hungry? We don't think, am I full? We just eat what we need, and then we get on with it and we go and play with the world, because the world's out there to play with, and food is just food. It's there to support us. So I think we've got to, it's not about learning how to do something. It's about remembering how to do something, because we've just been brainwashed with all this stuff that's like just taught us all this just crap. And in return, we've just got millions of women that have no idea how to connect with their bodies. But yeah, a lot of it is peeling back the layers. Absolutely. Of like, where's this belief come from? Why do I believe this? Why do I think that my body is like this? Why do I think that food is like this? Why do I believe that my mealtime should be like this? And just peel all that BS back. And what you're left with is just pure love and trust. And like, of course your body's on your side. Of course your body is here to work with you. Why on earth would your body be against you? Why? You think your body wants to be overweight and unhealthy? Of course not. You've got this one body. Your body's got a job to take you from the start to the finish line. So your body wants to be healthy, optimal self. Your body doesn't crave cake and ice cream. Your body is craving real foods because it wants you to live the best life you can. So I think a huge part of this journey is just getting into like, what does my body want, and what is like emotions driven? You know, what am I eating because of stress or my relationships or my career? All those things are driving a lot of eating habits. And I honestly think that if we knew why we ate and paid more attention to the why we ate and the how we ate, rather than just putting all this focus on what we're eating, I think we would heal a lot more, a lot quicker. I think the biggest cause of weight gain is that people are eating for the wrong reasons. They're eating to numb a feeling rather than just eating for hunger.
Yeah.
So I think healing that is really the key here. Healing, why am I eating? And then going, is food solving the root cause of why I'm eating? No, it's not. It's just numbing it and pushing it down. You're delaying the healing, you know, and that's when it starts to just unravel into something beautiful, when you get to all that stuff.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I love all of this. And when I realized that my emotions and I actually had something to do with this, was like such a light bulb moment for me. I was like, like, and you know, and at some level we are being driven by our subconscious and our beliefs about all this stuff, because we're not consciously aware of it. Can you talk a little bit about some of the common beliefs you maybe see, or some of the root cause of some of this stuff that you've maybe seen, or even an example in somebody that you uncovered and then healed, just for some people will be like, get it, and then some people might have never heard this concept before. So if you've got any great example you could tell us?
Oh, so many. So like beliefs about food, like toxic beliefs about food from the diet industry might be beliefs such as food is the enemy, or fat in food makes me fat, or carbs are evil, or my body hates me, or it might be, you know, it might be a story that I'm addicted to sugar. I'm a sugar addict. And then that's a story that then they're playing out. Or I'm a chocoholic, or, you know, it's in my genes, you know, all these different stories that we have about ourselves and our bodies and food that we've picked up through our whole life. Because, you know, if we are like, say you're 30 years old, then, you know, you've been in a relationship with food for 30 years old. So that's 30 years of conditioning, really. There's all kinds of stuff in there. And yeah, so like uncovering stuff like that and just asking yourself, like, where did I pick this up from? Is there any truth? And do I want to carry on my life believing this thing? Because actually it's holding me back. And I said this about the girls that I work with that have eating disorders. We do a lot of work on, like, you know, limiting beliefs. And I talked to you a couple of days ago because it's Eating Disorders Awareness Week this week as well. So I've been posting a lot about it. And that's something that I've started to think about recently. It's just like the language that is used to talk to people that have disordered eating. And it's like society has called it a disorder, but actually it's just a broken down relationship with food. And a lot of people have got a broken down relationship with food, but calling it a disorder and telling people that they need to be in recovery and that they've got an illness, like, that is just creating even more suffering and even more of a story of like, I'm broken, I need fixing. And anyone that's ever had an issue with food, or, you know, had a negative or challenging relationship with food in their bodies, you'll know it's so personal, and you feel so alone, and you feel like it's something that no one else understands, and you feel like you are broken. You feel like you are broken. So I think the worst thing you can do is tell someone that they've got an illness or a disorder. I think that's just saying to them, you're broken. You know, so there's things like that. And then another one that just came up actually when I was saying that is when people say, I've messed my metabolism up so much. I've messed my metabolism so much. And I used to say it. I used to be like, oh God, I've just messed it up so much. You know, maybe. Do you want to believe that or not?
Right.
Like, you choose to believe that? Like, what are you choosing to believe? Because whatever you choose to believe is what your reality is going to be created from. So, you know, like the girls that come on my retreats and stuff, they go home and they're like, I can't believe it was that effortless and empowering and fun. And I'm like, if you choose it to be, then it will, you know. If you choose for it to be a hard slog of like therapy and just like, heavy stuff, then that's what you're gonna get, right? But actually it's not about a fight or a battle for freedom. It's just about allowing freedom to be you, because you've always been free all along. You just have to keep choosing freedom.
Oh my God, so beautiful. I'm just writing that down. I'm taking a few notes. I'm like, this is so oh my goodness, I love all that. And I love that you're doing this work, because I think it's so important. And I think the industry has so much to be, you know, they play a big part in this, and then there's all this emotional stuff as well. So there's like two layers you're having to deal with, right? The misinformation, and then the emotional side of it. It's just such an important conversation. What do you see are some of the other, so I love talking about, like, what are some of the other side effects you see in people when they get in tune with their bodies, when they choose freedom? Like, it's not just dinner time that changes, right?
Oh, hell no. So like, wow, God, everything changes. Because when you heal your relationship with food, and when you start actually feeling at home in your body, what happens is you've created so much more space, first of all, in your head. So if you've been someone that's been, like, you know, obsessively dieting, and like me, it was literally, sometimes I look back at years gone by and I'm like, what did I even do in that year apart from lose and gain the same 20 pounds over and over again? Don't think I really accomplished much apart from that. Right. So one thing that happens is when you get that freedom, you're like, whoa, I've got all this extra time and energy and space. Oh my God, like, what could I create? What could I do with this precious life that I've now got? Because I see so many women waiting for their life to begin because they think they've got to lose 20 pounds first. Or they're like, I've got all these big dreams and goals, but I can't do them until I've got to this dress size. Can't go and do that photo shoot until I've got to this weight. Can't book that holiday, can't get that dress, can't get a boyfriend, whatever it is, until my body has changed. So what we've got is just women just waiting, and their lives are just on hold for like eternity, right? because they're just going round and round in circles, attaching happiness to over there, to a destination, not realizing that they could access happiness all along.
Yeah.
So one thing that happens when you access that happiness and that freedom is you go, oh my God, I can go out and do all those things that I've been dreaming about doing. And my body wasn't holding me back at all. It was my mindset around my body.
Absolutely.
It wasn't my body at all. My body is just here loving me, serving me, being amazing for me. It's my mindset around my body that was holding me back. So then they're like, oh my God, all those things that I wanted to do, I'm going to go do them. And when women, it's a lot of this about self-worth as well. So there's a level of self-love and self-worth that they find. And that's when I hear people come back to me and say, I thought this was about the food, but my God, it's so not. I've just realized that my career is making me really unhappy, and actually I'm going to go follow my dream job or start my dream business. Or I've just realized that, you know, actually I'm in a really shitty marriage and I've been putting up with a lot of stuff, and actually I love myself so much now that I know that I'm worth more. And so, you know, relationships are ending. Sorry, but it's all just a case of like, it's about self-worth. It's about self-worth, and your relationship with food is really just the relationship with yourself. Yeah, it's just a mirror of that. So when you're working on your relationship with food, you think you're working on your relationship with food, but you're not. You're working on your relationship with you. So then, obviously, when the food stuff takes an upgrade, you take an upgrade, and then every other area of your life does, because every other relationship in your life is also a reflection of you. So then you're just radiating this like great energy, and it's just people notice. People dig that shit.
So, oh my God, I love all of this so much. Like, it's, and I mean, I identify with this conversation so much. But I remember at one point I was like, I said to myself, I was like, I was putting off traveling around the world. And I was like, because I was waiting until I got to that weight so as I would enjoy it. And I had to have little check with myself. And I'm like, you're going to go, you're not going to not do anything because you think you're too fat, and you're just going to enjoy yourself. And I'm so glad I did, like so glad I did, because if I'd waited, I might never have gone, and that would be horrible, and that would have been terrible. And this photo shoots, and I see it with my clients all the time, and they're like, oh yeah, I was going to do it, but I'm like, where are the photos? Where are they? And they're like, yeah, so maybe next month when I've lost those 10 pounds. And I'm like,
oh no.
But
that's just it. I think for me, because I did that a lot, but I think losing my dad really just, that suddenly made me go like, I'm doing an awful lot of waiting around here. And an awful lot of putting off things, and what the hell, like life is literally passing me by while I wait for the wait. And I see it so much with my clients. If, like, it's a common question that I ask them in my programs. It's like, you know, write a list of all the things that you've been putting off doing, and then guess what, we're going to go do them. Let's go do them now. Same with like all the clothes in the wardrobe. Like, I'm like, get rid of that shit. Like, get rid of all those clothes that you're holding on to because you think you're going to shrink into them. No, get rid of them. Like, you've got to be present with your body and honor your body right now. And let's be honest, if you do lose a bit of weight naturally and effortlessly, you're probably going to want to go out and buy new clothes anyway. Right. So energetically keeping hold of those old clothes, energetically think about that. Like, it's just drawing you back into the past and keeping you going in circles with this weight thing. It's an unhealthy thing to hold on to. Wow. So I'd first of all, get rid of the scales. Like, so it's so freeing to not have a clue what you weigh. And honestly, if someone said to me, I'll give you 20 quid if you can tell me with what you weigh within 5 to 10 pounds, I'd be like, I have no idea. I would literally be stabbing in the dark. And that to me is just the most freeing thing ever, because I was so obsessed. Like, I was weighing like 3 times a day sometimes. Like, I could tell you every single day what my number was, and that determined my self-worth for the day. Right. So if anyone is listening that relates even a tiny bit to my story, the most freeing thing that you can do if you're serious about this is just get rid of the scales, because that forces you to trust your body. That forces you to lean into trust, lean into flow, to connect. Like, it's a piece of plastic. like it's a piece of glass. Like, really? Like, that's not, like, that's going to determine how you feel about yourself and your life.
Right. Talk
We're
about
giving
giving your
away
power
so
away.
much power. We're giving away so much power. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. I'm glad, because I'm nomadic. I haven't had skills for years, and I'm like, am I just in denial? Maybe a bit of denial, but no, I'm kidding. But absolutely, like it's so empowering to do that. We're getting rid of the small clothes just to make sure, and maybe the big ones too. We get rid of
do you know, get rid of anything that just makes you feel like just like crap, basically. Like, I would say get rid of those like clothes that you used to fit and kind of fantasize about fitting again, but like haven't fit. And, you know, maybe when you fit them, you were like on a crazy diet. So, you know, realistically, you're not going to fit it unless you're starving yourself again, like that kind of an outfit.
Oh yeah, those ones. Mm-hmm.
And I would also say get rid of like just like frumpy stuff that just makes you feel low about yourself. You know, like what do you have? What are you holding on to that's just like I think a lot of people, when they're conscious about their weight, they wear loads of just like dark, like baggy, like just things that they think, well, when I've got to that weight, then I can start wearing fabulous clothes. Like then I can start wearing things that I actually want to wear. And so, like, you know, in my program, the Academy, we do a lot of work on your wardrobe and just really to get you kind of appreciating your body at its size now. Because I think a lot of people think that self-love is about just accepting your body now and that's it, and stay at the same weight. But, you know, actually, if you love and accept your body as she is now, you're actually going to make loving choices for your body. So which means that's going to end your emotional eating, end your binge eating, you know, increase your happiness. So actually, you're more likely to lose weight, but it'll be very natural and effortlessly. But the self-love has to come first. You can't get a body that you love by hating it. You can only get a body that you love by loving it. So you've got to start now. You can't think, well, I'll start loving my body when I've got to this weight. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't work at all.
Right. I love that. I love it.
Round and round in circles.
Oh, so good, Mel. So good. Oh my goodness. I'm just conscious of time. I love all this, and it's everything. And I think, you know, like coming back to the sort of the whole concept of this, by healing this issue, and, you know, I don't even want to call it an issue, but this, you know, disconnection with our food and our bodies, your whole life comes into flow, you know, and that's this beautiful thing. And you're seeing it with your clients, you're seeing it with yourself, you're living it. And I just love how, you know, approaching this one piece for some people will be that doorway and the answer into living this beautiful life. So
yes,
I just want to just thank you and acknowledge you for like all of this work and helping people with this, because I don't see anybody else talking about it the way you are, and I just really love it. So thank you so much. But just before I want to just, so everybody knows where they can find you, like where do you hang out most online? Where can we get hold of you?
Online, I mean, my website is melwells.com. I hang out on Instagram quite a lot. So come and hang out with me on Instagram. And yeah, like, what else do you want to know? Obviously Facebook, I'm on Facebook. Yeah. Twitter, not so much.
Me neither. I still haven't figured out the point of that. And I deleted Snapchat. I was just like,
yeah, me too.
I don't have time for this. Like,
I've narrowed it down now to pretty much just Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. But Instagram is where I live.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to say again, like, this book, like, you've just got to go and get a copy. So it's The Goddess Revolution. I got mine on Amazon. I'm sure they're all over the place. Probably are they in the airport yet? That's like a dream of mine, is to like see my book in the airport.
I don't know. That's a good question.
But like the next, I always walk past in the airport and I'm just like imagining like my book like on the stand.
Amazing.
Not Barnes and Noble. Well, it'd be nice, but I'm obsessed with it being in the airport. I don't know why.
Love it.
Yeah, goddess revolution.
Fab.
So yeah, dead easy to get hold of that, and just thank you again. I loved it, and yeah, we could literally sit and talk, but I know it's the middle of your night, so I'm just trying to be very respectful, and I really appreciate you staying up and having this conversation.
Thank you, babe. Lovely to see you.
Thanks.